In this video, we are going to talk about Zcash, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of Zcash to go in the next few days and weeks. So we'll be looking at the weekly chart, and what we can see here is that since late 2025, Zcash has been getting absolutely massive rallies, with it rallying over 10x in just a couple of months back in late 2025. Since then, the rally did cool off and it started dumping for a few months. But Zcash is still continuing to get more rallies into 2026 as well, and it is currently still over $500, which is still around 10x higher than where it was back in September of 2025. So we can't say that the rally by Zcash died off whatsoever. What we do see here is that Zcash created a lower high, but it also recently created a higher low as well. So there isn't a very clear direction to the structure by Zcash at the moment. It is creating a wedge right here. If we do connect these highs as well as these more recent lows, we have this wedge forming right here. And with wedges, what eventually has to happen is for the price structure to break out of it either up or down, and whichever direction it goes to, it usually leads to a very significant move to that direction. So sometime in the next few months, as you can see, this wedge ends around late 2026. At some point, Zcash will inevitably have to break out of it either up or down, and wherever it goes will likely lead to a very large move to that direction. So currently the lower trend line is at around $440 and the upper trend line is at around $640, and Zcash is right in the middle. It is a bit closer to the lower trend line at the moment. Most recently in June of this year, we've seen Zcash hit the lower trend line and it got a very significant rally from it right away. It rallied all the way up to around $600 and it has been consolidating in the last few weeks. Also guys, if you're enjoying these videos and you want more updates about Zcash as well as other altcoins and the crypto market in general, make sure to subscribe. If you're getting any value from these updates, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel way more than you know, and it allows me to continue making these videos. So now let's continue with the analysis of Zcash. So we can see that the price movement has had a pretty strong correlation with Bitcoin in recent months, at least in the direction of it. Back in February of this year, we have seen Bitcoin bottom at around 60k and then start to get a relief rally all the way up to 82k leading up to May. And during the time, we've seen Zcash have a pretty strong correlation to Bitcoin. It continued dumping a bit further after Bitcoin, but eventually back in March, it did bottom and got a very significant rally all the way up to over $650 once again, all the way up to May. And then around May, Bitcoin started dumping and Zcash quickly followed it as well and got a dump all the way down to less than $400. But the important difference is that Zcash is still significantly higher than where it was back in the bottom in March and even where it was back in February, while Bitcoin did go all the way back down to 60k and it has been around the area of 65k for a while now, while Zcash is still significantly higher than where it was back then. Zcash went all the way down to around $200 and it is currently at over $500, and even at the recent low it was only at around $370. We did have this week going all the way down to 250, but even this is still higher than where it was back in March at the bottom. So Zcash has been significantly outperforming Bitcoin in the last couple of months, and really it has been outperforming basically the entire crypto market in recent months and also since late 2025 as well, since, as we said, it is still 10 times higher than where it was back then. So although generally I still think that we are in a bear market and I'm quite pessimistic about altcoins as a whole, I think that in the long term Bitcoin will most likely head down below 60k and create new lows for this bear market. And once that happens, I would expect most altcoins to also continue dumping much further and for the entire crypto market to continue to be in a bear market. Despite all of this, Zcash does still have a pretty decent chance of continuing to perform well. It has been performing incredibly well even while the entire crypto market has been performing quite poorly, and its correlation with the rest of the crypto market is not always so straightforward. So I definitely think that it is possible for Zcash to eventually break out of this wedge to the upside, and if that does happen and Zcash breaks above this trend line and it closes a weekly candle above around $630, overly above this recent high above $680, so a break above, let's say, $700 just to be sure, would be a very significant sign for Zcash, and that could lead to a major move leading to new all-time highs, even breaking even above this major high from back in late 2025. And really Zcash is one of the only coins across the entire market other than Bitcoin and very briefly Ethereum that actually created new all-time highs during this recent cycle. Almost the entire crypto market, even the coins that performed very well, only got a lower high compared to the all-time high from back in the 2021 cycle, from back in the altcoin season in the previous cycle. at least the coins that existed back then. Of course, there are many coins that didn't even exist back then, but out of the coins that did, Zcash is one of the absolute best performers. Back then, Zcash topped at around $370, and in this cycle, it reached a level around 2x that. So really, Zcash is one of the strongest altcoins across the entire crypto market, and it has been outperforming Bitcoin even for a very long time now. We've seen it actually hold on to the all-time low that it had from all the way back in 2020. In the bear market following the altcoin season in 2021, we've seen Zcash dump like the entire crypto market did, but it did not get a dump quite as strong as most of the crypto market. Most of the altcoin market was getting into new all-time lows during the 2022 bear market, while Zcash was still holding quite strong and significantly above its all-time lows, and eventually it continued dumping leading up to 2024, but it still more or less held onto the all-time low at around $20, and then as we saw in 2025, it got some absolutely massive rallies. So I think that both in the short and the long term, the structure by Zcash is quite strong. It is one of the better looking altcoins, although in general, I'm very pessimistic about the altcoin market as a whole, and I think that going further into 2026, most of the crypto market will continue to dump further, and I would be very cautious with altcoins. I would only consider being into some very selectively, but I do think that Zcash could definitely be one of them, and it is one of the stronger looking altcoins in the market at the moment, and it has been so for a very long time now. So of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but I am definitely going to keep an eye out on Zcash and make more videos about Zcash and update you guys as things unfold. So make sure to subscribe, do not miss that out. Again, I would still be very cautious with it because it is still an altcoin and we are still in a bear market, and we are probably going to be in one for at least a few more months. But I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing on the chart for Zcash right here, and I will continue to be on the lookout for whichever direction it breaks out of this wedge, whether it is up or down. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more updates about Zcash, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.